Did you know the smallest dinosaur ever discovered is called the Microraptor and is only 16 inches long? Welcome to World Fact Finder. In this episode, we will discuss 50 mind-blowing random and utterly amazing facts you never knew. Let's get started. Number 1. Oranges were originally green. The first oranges ever imported to the West were from Southeast Asia and were tangerine pomelo hybrids that were green in color. In fact, oranges grown in warmer parts of the world, such as Vietnam and Thailand, stay green throughout their lifetime. Number 2. Going to work is more dangerous than going to war. Statistically, you are 3 times more likely to die traveling to or from work than you are if you were to be shipped out to war these days. Number 3. Russia has more surface area than Pluto, with 6,601,668 square miles of landmass. Russia beats Pluto's 6,427,805 square miles of surface area and dwarfs the world's second biggest country, Canada, which has a landmass of 3,855,103 square miles. Number 4. You can fire an arrow around an object to hit a target. Both English and Arabic historic sources have mentioned skilled archers curving arrows around objects. It has become a practice among some modern-day archers who have proved it can be done. In fact, an arrow can even be fired with a 180-degree curve to hit an object on the other side of a wall. Amazing, right? Number 5. There is no specific time zone at the South Pole. This is because all the longitude lines on the planet meet up there, because the planet isn't flat, yo. The stations on the South Pole use the time zone of the country that owns them, meaning 2 stations near each other could be using 2 different time zones. Number 6. The first ever 3D film was released in cinemas in 1922. Released in September of that year, The Power of Love was a silent film and was released in cinemas worldwide. It even came with an alternative ending that was decided by closing one eye or the other. Sadly, the film is lost and hasn't been found for decades. Number 7. Sandra Bullock was almost Neo in The Matrix. The film's producers had such a hard time finding the right man for the role before they found Keanu Reeves that they almost changed Neo to a female character. Number 8. Surfer slang hang 10 means having all 10 toes over your board's edge when riding a wave. This is a move that can usually only be done on a heavy longboard. Number 9. There was a type of pterodactyl with a bigger wingspan than a fighter jet. The remarkable beast's remains were dug up in Romania. Standing as tall as a giraffe, it's believed the flying reptile would have weighed about half a ton. With a wingspan of 39 feet, it would have been bigger than the roughly 33-foot wingspan of an F-16 fighter jet. Number 10. Scientists genetically modified goats to spin spider silk from their udders. U.S. Professor Randy Lewis transplanted a gene into the goats from a spider that allows the goats to produce milk containing an extra protein. This is then extracted from the goat milk and spun into a spider silk thread. Number 11. The Burj Khalifa is so tall you can see 2 sunsets from it in one day. You can see the sunset happen at ground level, and then, if you get the elevator all the way up the building, you can see it set again from the top. Number 12. Queen Elizabeth II's handbag was a body language communication device. It was used by her to relay secret and silent messages to her staff. For example, if she finished speaking to a guest, she moved it from one arm to another, and her aides would politely end the conversation. If she wanted to abruptly end a conversation, she put her bag on the ground. Number 13. There is a spacecraft graveyard in the South Pacific Ocean. Known as Point Nemo, It is the furthest place on the Earth from land. It is home to over 300 spacecraft and associated space debris, including the Mir space station, the first ever object assembled in planetary orbit by Russian cosmonauts. Number 14. Broccoli is a man-made food. So humans just engineered broccoli out of nowhere? Nope. Well, not exactly. Broccoli only came about after years and years of selective breeding between wild cabbage plants that started around the 6th century BC. In fact, the word broccoli comes from the Italian for the flowering crest of a cabbage. Number 15. High heels were originally men's shoes. High heels came into circulation on the shoe circuit in roughly 10 BC. They were worn by men of the Persian cavalry to help their boots stay in their stirrups when riding horses. Number 16. Bowler hats were originally invented as safety hats. Bowler hats were designed by London hatters Thomas and William Bowler, hence the name. The hat was invented to keep horse riders' heads safe from branches and other obstacles. Number 17. OMG was first used in writing in 1917. Although people might have said it before then, the popular acronym for Oh My God was first used in writing in a letter to Winston Churchill in 1917. It was used by John Arbuthnot Fisher, a retired admiral of the British Navy, who said in his letter, "I hear that a new order of knighthood is on the tapis, OMG. Oh my God." Number 18. There is a smoke alarm for the deaf. Invented by a team of Japanese scientists and engineers, this life-saving device works by spraying vaporized wasabi into the air, which notifies deaf people of a fire. It will even wake them up if they're sleeping. This invention won one of the IG Nobel Prizes in 2011, a spoof of the Nobel Prizes, for inventions that first make people laugh and then make them think. Number 19. Peanuts, walnuts, almonds, cashews, and pistachios aren't nuts. They're classed as seeds because a nut is defined as a hard-shelled dry fruit or seed with a separable rind or shell and interior kernel. Number 20. Armadillos have shells so hard they can deflect a bullet. One poor Texan man learned this the hard way when he shot at an armadillo, only to have the bullet ricochet off the indestructible beast and back at him into his jaw. The man was airlifted to hospital. Amazingly, the armadillo just walked off unscathed. Number 21. Only a quarter of the Sahara Desert is sandy. Most of this gargantuan desert is covered in gravel, although it also has its own mountain ranges and oases. Number 22. Antarctica is the world's largest desert. The Antarctic Polar Desert covers the Antarctica continent and covers roughly 5.5 million square miles. The Sahara Desert covers roughly 3.6 million square miles. Number 23. In 1960, a cow got hit by a chunk of falling U.S. satellite in Cuba. This was during a time when tensions between Havana and Washington were at their highest. So, the Cubans decided to make the best out of a bad situation and had a good laugh at their American neighbors. They paraded a cow through the Cuban streets with a sign on it that said, "Eisenhower, you murdered one of my sisters." Number 24. Your nose and ears never stop growing. They are the only two parts of your body that keep growing when all your other features' growth comes to an end. Number 25. In the 1990s, half of the world's CDs were made for AOL sign-up discs. For you young'uns out there, this fact is going to blow your mind. You had to use a disc to sign up for an internet provider. The world wasn't always full of all 5Gs just knocking about in the planetary ether. Hell, back then, I think 3G would have been mind-blowing enough, let alone not having to use a disc to sign up to the internet. Number 26. The Eiffel Tower grows in the summer. Due to the heat expansion of the tower's iron in the summer sun, the Eiffel Tower can grow by up to 6 inches in height. Number 27. Bees can fly higher than Mount Everest. Bees can fly at levels up to 29,525 feet above sea level, higher than the planet's tallest mountain. Number 28. Until 2015, it was illegal to dance in Japan after midnight. This was a law introduced in 1948 to crack down on dance halls that acted as fronts for illicit activities, and it was only revoked in 2015. Number 29. In 1997, a cargo ship lost 4.8 million Lego bits in a storm. They are still washing up today. The container ship Tokyo Express was hauling cargo across stormy seas on February 13, 1997, when a rogue wave crashed over the decks and caused some of her cargo to become loose and wash overboard. One such container contained a shipment of Lego, including octopuses, dragons, flippers, and flowers. These pieces are often found on the beaches of Cornwall in the UK whenever there's a particularly bad storm. Number 30. In Tokyo, Japan, there is a hedgehog cafe. You can go to this establishment and pay 1,000 yen to go in, have a cappuccino, and play with and cuddle some amazing hedgehogs. Just be careful when you're cuddling them, because they aren't exactly soft and fluffy. Number 31. The smallest dinosaur ever discovered is only 16 inches long. Discovered in China, the Microraptor is one of the most recent dinosaur discoveries and is the smallest ever found. Most of the specimens that have been found have also been fully grown, so the baby Microraptors would have been even smaller. Number 32. In England, pigeon poop is the property of the crown. This is because pigeon poop could be used to make gunpowder. Because of this, King George I declared all pigeon poop to be the property of the crown in the 18th century. Number 33. The letter E is the most common letter in the English language. It appears in roughly 11% of all words used in the English language and is used 12 times in this very sentence alone. Number 34. New Zealand is actually part of a much bigger, sunken landmass. Dubbed Zealandia, it was only discovered after humans had traveled to space, as they were able to easily see it from above the Earth. Some scientists believe it should be formally recognized as the world's 8th continent. Number 35. A female gladiator was called a gladiatrix. Gladiatrices, plural term their peeps, were much the same as their male counterparts and would fight each other for the glory of their masters and the entertainment of the crowds. However, for some reason, very little history or knowledge of them survived, save for a few accounts written by members of Rome's elite. Number 36. Koalas have unique fingerprints. So do chimpanzees and gorillas. However, koala fingerprints are so similar to human fingerprints that even the most seasoned forensic scientists would have a hard time telling a koala fingerprint from a human one. Number 37. In China, the police use geese as sentries. In many parts of rural China, police have opted to use geese as police animals as they are highly alert and capable of making lots of noise. Also, police geese sounds cooler than police dogs. Number 38. There are sharks that can live for up to 500 years. Greenland sharks have the longest known lifespan of all vertebrate animals. Bonus fact, they don't even reach sexual maturity until they are roughly 150 years old. Number 39. A man survived being hit by a car and thrown 118 feet. Off-duty paramedic Matthew McKnight was hit by a car traveling 70 miles per hour and was catapulted 118 feet. He suffered some fairly serious injuries, but amazingly managed to recover. He now holds the Guinness World Record for the furthest distance thrown by a car. Number 40. Natural bananas contain seeds inside of them. The reason your store-bought bananas are nice, soft, and seedless is that they have been specially bred over generations so that they do not form mature seeds. The most common banana, the Cavendish, traces its selectively bred lineage all the way back to 1834. Number 41. In Bosnia, Serbia, and Montenegro, you can legally vote at 16. However, that's only if you're employed. If you're unemployed, then the minimum voting age is 18, much like the rest of the world. Number 42. All astronauts going to the International Space Station have to learn how to speak Russian. This is because astronauts traveling to the ISS must hitch a ride with Russian cosmonauts, and the controls of their Soyuz spacecraft are in Russian. The first British astronaut to go to the ISS, Commander Tim Peake, said, "Learning Russian has been the single most difficult aspect of my training." Number 43. Sharks are older than trees. Sharks have been about on this planet for roughly 400 million years, which is about 50 million years longer than trees. Number 44. Belgium once tried using cats to deliver mail. In the 1870s, the town of Liège came up with the idea of employing felines as their new mail couriers. The mail was loaded into waterproof bags that were tied around the kitties' little collars, and they were sent to their destination. However, this was quickly dropped, as the cats proved slower and more unreliable than human post couriers. Go figure. Number 45. In China, ghost marriages are illegal. All right, you had me at ghost marriages, but what exactly is that? Well, it's when recently deceased women and men are matched up and ritually married by their respective families to ensure they aren't lonely in the afterlife. It's kind of like those Cher lyrics, just the other way around. Do you believe in love after life? Number 46. There is a fictitious athlete hall of fame. It was formed in 2013, and some of the inductees include Rocky Balboa, Mr. Miyagi, and Happy Gilmore. Number 47. Scientists in California created a machine to harness power from snowfall. The machine worked by using negatively charged silicone to catch positively charged snowflakes, which created a static electric effect that was then harvested. Impressive, yes, but a little fruitless in California, right? Number 48. An ant can't die from falling. Because of their incredibly small weight and rock-hard exoskeleton, an ant's terminal velocity isn't enough to harm it upon impact. Simply put, they could survive being dropped from heights, like the Empire State Building, and walk away unscathed. Number 49. People spend roughly 13% of their lives zoned out. It happens to us all, according to a study from 2005. 1 minute you're living life, and you're on the ball, then the next moment, wait, what was I doing? Oh well, whatever, never mind. I'll just read some amazing facts instead. According to the same study, this figure can increase to 26% when you're intoxicated. Number 50. Before trees existed, Earth was covered with giant white mushrooms. These huge fungi were 24 feet tall and 3 feet wide and covered most of the Earth's surface before trees existed. Thanks for watching. Like and comment if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss the next interesting facts. See you in our next video.